I have no idea if I'm going to use this as the cold open or not, but I'm sitting here about to start recording this video talking about all the summer horror movies I'm excited to see, and what do you know, Final Destination absolutely just crushed at the box office with 51 million, setting a new record for the franchise. And Sinners is still bumping around in the top 5 at the number 3 spot, making almost 316 million in total domestic box office. I mean, this is a pretty good time to be a horror fan. I mean, come on. And now we can talk about 5 more movies that are going to absolutely, like, crush, I hope. Okay, some of them will. One of them, I don't know about that one. Good evening, campers, streamers, and babysitters, and welcome back to another recommendation list. This time, doing something I haven't done in a little while, but I'm going to be talking about all new movies. Yes, these are going to be horror films that are going to be gracing the cinema screens this year, summer 2025. And boy, do we have a lineup here. Yes, I have big films, I have small films, I have a film that is criminally underheard about, and I am so excited to talk about it. But as always, if you are new here, thank you for stopping by and clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. And if you think we deserve it and you enjoy the video, I'll hope that you'll consider hitting that subscribe button as well as hitting that like button. Help boost us up in the algorithm so that way we don't get completely buried by YouTube. With that said and done, let's do it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into some of my picks for my most anticipated horror films of summer 2025. And kicking things off at my number 5 pick, I have to go with Zach Cregger's follow-up to my favorite film of 2022, Barbarian, with, of course, Weapons. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night, at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. If I'm being completely honest with you here, guys, this is probably my most anticipated movie of the summer right now. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Zach Cregger has in store for us. Yes, Barbarian was a film I walked into, and I just only was going to watch it for the channel. We were still very small at the time, and I really was just like, I need to dedicate this to get as many horror reviews out as possible. So Luke and I went. I was not impressed by any of the trailers, but boy, howdy, when the twist in that movie happens, I'm locked in. It's everything that I could have wanted from a thriller. It felt ballsy, it felt gutsy, it was awesome. I absolutely fell in love with that film. And it's gutsy. It's very gutsy. You know, there's a lot of people who don't like that movie. They feel like that twist is silly, but it's honestly pretty great in my opinion. Just my opinion, okay? Okay? Easy there. Point is, though, Weapons is, I think, going to be something very special here. We did a full breakdown video of this already on the channel. I'll link it right here if you want to check it out after this video. And that's why I put this at my number 5. Again, it's nothing to do with how excited I am to see this movie. I'm super pumped for it, but we've already discussed it at length, so I didn't want to take up too much time discussing Weapons. But I did have to at least tip my hat and say, this is one I'm looking forward to. I hope that it keeps me going with at least, if not an interesting twist like the last one, something really compelling, and at least something that's going to get me thinking. And that's really the vibe that I feel from this. This looks very Signs-like. This seems, you know, kind of like Prisoners in a sense. You know, that's another movie that I absolutely adore, and I get all of those feelings here. I just really hope that it delivers. Moving on into my number 4 pick. Guys, you know, if a movie's got sharks in it, it's gonna grab my attention. But that's not all this movie has. No, this movie, this looks great. And of course, I'm talking about Dangerous Animals. When a savvy and free-spirited surfer is abducted by a shark-obsessed serial killer and held captive in his boat, she must figure out how to escape before he carries out a ritualistic feeding to the sharks below. Tell me that concept doesn't intrigue you. Tell me that does not scream, this could be really great or really boring. And that's the risk I'm willing to take when you have a visionary like the great Sean Byrne behind the camera. Yes, this is the gentleman who brought us films such as The Devil's Candy and, of course, a personal favorite of mine, The Loved Ones. This guy is an Aussie legend. I absolutely love all of his work. Both those films are excellent, and I'm really hoping that he follows up with something strong here. Not only because I'm a nerd and I love my shark movies, but I'm really intrigued to see how this concept plays out. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm somebody who's always really wanted to see Jai Courtney get a role where he can actually sink his teeth into it. And I finally feel like he might have found it. He looks absolutely diabolical in this trailer, and I'm kind of hoping that he just slips into the madness, and we just watch this guy literally go through his process of how he abducts people, and then what he does with these sharks, and he's dancing around in his cabin. He's looking all kinds of weird and drunk and just psychotic. This really is shaping up to be probably one of my favorite films of the summer, if not my favorite films of the year, just on premise, just on trailer alone. I will say I wouldn't watch the second trailer if you haven't seen it already. It does give away quite a bit, and I'm a little worried because I had to watch it for this video that I may have a little bit more spoiled for me than I want. But hey, that was my risk, so I'm passing it off to you guys so that way hopefully you can go in as blind as possible and just check out Dangerous Animals. Moving on into my number 3 pick, of course, it's the trailer that everybody heard around the world. I mean, this thing dropped its teaser. Everybody went crazy. Of course, I'm talking about 28 years later. A group of survivors of the Rage virus live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors. It's kind of wild to me that we're sitting at the time of recording this video only a month away from another 28 movie, like in the 28 series. Like, this is crazy. Like, there were speculations, talks for so long since after 28 weeks came out about what they were going to do. Of course, everybody was like, hey, it's going to be 28 months, but no. Danny Boyle don't roll that way, nor does Alex Garland. Of course, those are the two big names behind this that I'm super excited to see, and really, honestly, it's great to have these two guys back because, yes, they did the original, and Alex Garland, I believe, wrote or at least helped write the sequel. So having these guys come back, and not only that, but come back in this way of they're not like really leaving the mantra behind of what that first 28 days later set out to do. They wanted to tell a zombie story or an infected story, an apocalypse story, I should say, in a very different way. And you can tell that just from the way that the virus works, just the way that everybody interacts, the timeline of everything, as well as just how they shot the film. They shot it on, I believe, mini DV or some form of VHS. That's why it has that like permanent odd, like kind of more analog look to it. I'm blown away. Honestly, it looks amazing. It's something that just feels like the world is so crisp and ready. I have like kind of the same notion and same feeling that I had for almost Final Destination Bloodlines, where it's like we've been away from this franchise for so long that it just feels like a warm blanket, honestly, to a horror fan. Like, I'm so excited for this. The cast looks amazing. Let's go. Let's hope that this one knocks it out of the park. And then, of course, the follow-up that I think we're getting next summer, Bone Temple. Like, come on, man. Like, if this works and we're on a whole new trajectory, a whole new trilogy of 28 years or 28 days movies, like, sign me up. Relationships can be hard, and for some, one-night stands and spontaneous meetups can be full of risk. That's why today's sponsor, Tantally, has come to the rescue. Yes, folks, Tantally has taken it upon themselves to open up a new world of both passions and pleasures. Made with food-grade TPE material and sporting the softest and most realistic skin textures, Tantally promises to give you an experience beyond your wildest imaginations. Tantally offers 100% discreet packaging and free shipping in over 30 countries. Use our link in the description below and you'll receive 12% off your order when you use code SPLATTER12. Huge thanks to Tantally for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to it. They say it takes two to tango, and that's why coming in at my number 2 spot, I have to go with what looks to be hopefully not only a gruesome and amazing body horror film, but hopefully something that's got a little bit of a sci-fi edge, and of course, I am talking about Together. Years into their relationship, Tim and Millie find themselves at a crossroads as they move to the country, with tensions already flaring and encounters with an unnatural force threaten to corrupt their lives, their love, and their flesh. Yeah, I love body horror. Everybody who's been watching our channel for any length of time knows that. Luke and I are big fans. It's something that we like to play with a lot in our writing. It's just a very kind of, I think, that mix of everything that I really love about horror in a lot of ways, because most body horror you have to do a lot of practical effects, which is something that I adore, as well as just trying to kind of sell that experience, you know, just when you see something that's affecting somebody in that way, that kind of primal, intimate way, it's horrifying. It gets under my skin really easily. And Together, although not necessarily getting under my skin just yet from what I've seen in the trailers, I cannot lie, I'm very intrigued by this, and all the really big positive word of mouth that I've heard from the festival runs. This thing, it's promising something very, very different and unique and very, very weird. And that's what I want as a whole. I see that it's got a little bit of comedy in it, as well as it mentions some sci-fi here on the listings. I'm all for that. I am. Now, the one thing I can't kind of scoot past without at least mentioning it here is that this film, just this past week, as of when I'm recording this, has kind of come under some controversy. It seems like, this was a script that was offered to Dave Franco for him and his wife at one point, and they passed on it, and then they went and came up with this story. So, who's to say? I guess who's right, who's wrong in this situation? They're going to be going to court, I believe, over this, so we'll find out, but I'm trying not to let that stain what I hope is ultimately a really interesting and awesome movie. And of course, once all that comes out in the wash, hopefully, if anybody who's been affected by this lawsuit, I hope they're made whole at least. And taking my number 1 spot is, of course, the movie I've been really eager to talk about. I found this thing a couple weeks back, and it's just kind of been an obsession of mine ever since. And I really hope that this video does well, so that way this can get some exposure. But I'm, of course, talking about Dream Eater. A filmmaker documents her boyfriend's violent parasomnia during their holiday at a remote cabin in the woods. Now, there's a couple of things that have me very intrigued here. Number 1, I've heard through the grapevine from some positive word of mouth. Chuck, Your Movie Guy, is somebody that we've had on the podcast a couple times. He's a really great dude. He's seen this. I've seen his video, and Chuck and I tend to vibe on these kind of weirder, kind of found footagey type films. So I'm really stoked that he's pointed this in my direction, because this just sounds really up my alley. Because if those of you who haven't been around, you don't know that I wasn't the biggest found footage guy, neither was Luke for a while there, but when we got into this channel and we started watching more horror and just really getting into things, found footage has really stepped up its game over the last few years, and we're finally now giving it the praises it deserves, at least for Luke and myself. We have these 3 filmmakers here, and of course I'm talking about Jake Draculic, Mallory Drum, and Alex Lee Williams. They're all 3 working on this. They funded it themselves. This is all self-funded for very, very low budget Canadian film here. Guys, I'm getting some Skinamarink vibes from this. I'm excited to see what they're doing. Now, don't take that as it's going to be like analog horror, very slow as Skinamarink. This looks like it's going to have some intense moments, but it's just that low budget, like awesome, creepy concept that I'm absolutely sold on. This movie does look like it has the potential to actually get under my skin a little bit, and I'm looking for that right now. I could really use that, especially as we wind down the summer, as we get closer to those October months. This doesn't have an official release date from what I can find right now, but hopefully it's going to be dropping, I hope, by maybe end of July, August. So I'll keep you guys posted on everything I can hear and find about with Dream Eater. I've already been in contact with the filmmakers, the people behind it running the promo for it, so I'm hopefully going to be able to get a screener, if not an interview with these guys. I would love to talk to all three of them. I think that this looks exciting, scary, and if it lives up to everything that I've heard, this is going to be kind of one of those underground hits that I think is going to start popping up on a lot of these underground hidden gems you need to find. But it doesn't have to be a hidden gem. We could all go out and see it. We could go find it, support it. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make this a hit. And there it is, folks. That is another recommendation list down. Yes, not as long as some of my other ones, but I just wanted to, again, talk about some movies I'm really looking forward to. We did this, for a while last year where we were doing, like, at least all the films we're looking forward to each month. We kind of fell off on that just due to time constraints and things, so this is kind of my way back into that. If that's something you guys would like to see more of, I could totally do this. I know Luke would love to get his thoughts and opinions out on some of these, as well as some that he's looking forward to over me. This is always something that I think we need to have every once in a while on the channel, just so that way we can kind of keep, in line where everybody is. And of course, drawing attention to, some smaller horror films that normally don't get the spotlight as much as like our Megan 2.0s and other Blumhouse things that are coming out. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Again, if you're new here, I hope that we've earned you hitting that subscribe button for us to join our little community here, as well as, again, hitting that like button to show a little bit of support and help us out with the algorithm. I really, really hope that we can get some more eyes on Dream Eater. Definitely let people know about it, as well as some of these other ones, Dangerous Animals. I've already got a screener for it, so I'm real excited to check it out. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of great coverage on that. So definitely get excited. There's a lot of cool stuff on the horizon, as well as stuff that's really, really shortly coming out here, like Bring Her Back, the new film from the brothers who brought us Talk to Me. We just got to see that last week. We got a full review up on the channel right now for it. And of course, just like I said at the beginning, Sinners Final Destination. If you're a horror fan right now, you are eating good. So let's keep it up. Let's keep supporting independent horror. Let's support big horror. Let's just get out there, do what we can, because, that's why we love this stuff. We love being scared. We love the blood. We love the gore. And, of course, love all you guys. So thank you for all the support. And, yeah, it's going to wrap it up for me. So until next time, I'm Dylan Newell. And remember, stay scared.
Do the horror shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, gonna smash your ass. 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 Splattercast, gonna smash your ass.